This Organized Chaos podcast is brought to you by JEMS Art Studio. JEMS Art Studio is an online store that allows access to prints that you can use for most anything, obviously as just a picture, or as a wallpaper, or as a bookmark, or anything you can think of. You can find JEMS Art Studio at etsy.com/shop/JEMS Art Studio. This podcast is also brought to you by listeners like you. Thank you. But yes, we have the Suicide Squad from 2016. Boy, oh boy. You have any immediate thoughts on this one?
A shudder. Oh God, where to begin? Immediate thoughts. Well, I mean, it's obvious that the studio, like I had said, they meddled so badly that I'm surprised a rubber mask didn't come off of this one and it to be revealed to be Bob Kane this whole time.
Yeah. Well, when rewatching this movie, I was shocked just by how staggeringly bad this edit job is. It is, like, I'm literally watching it and thinking, my God, I'm watching this thinking of how I could easily edit this thing together so much better. Because, like, the beginning is literally introduce Deadshot, introduce Harley, and then introduce Amanda Waller, and then introduce Harley, and then introduce Deadshot, and then, oh my God, my brain is breaking. My brain.
Yeah, it did really hop around, and really just, I guess, the storyboarding is what was really jarring for me the most. And it bothered me the very first time I saw it, too, because of just, it's like you said, they introduced Deadshot. We get a little backstory on him. We introduce Harley. We get a little backstory on her. We meet Miss Walker this whole time it seems that, she's just telling us about them. Okay. Who is she sitting down here? Why is this happening? What's going on?
Well, yeah.
Why are we getting all this exposition? What the hell?
Well, it's so frustrating because I'm watching it and I'm thinking, okay, we have the beginning, Deadshot in prison. We see him, we see the guards kind of mess with him, and then when you cut away, what you do is you start Amanda Waller talking about Deadshot, and then you can if you need to, you can cut to her a little bit talking to other people, and then you roll immediately into your main Deadshot introduction, so it's all one clump. As for the Harley introduction in prison, you don't even need that, because we've already established the guards are cool to Deadshot. We don't need any more of that. So you can roll into your regular Harley introduction, and I'm watching it, and I'm thinking, who edited this? You saved time by cutting it this way. What the fuck are you doing? One
thing that bothered me most about this, and this, I don't know, this time it really got to me, and it was the song selection and score.
Oh, yes. Oh, my.
And I mean, okay, if anyone who is anybody, if you know one for one about Batman, or at least you're around our age, mid-30s, you grew up watching Batman the Animated Series on Fox. So you know very well who Harley Quinn is. You don't need a song to emphasize how rebellious and unique individual she is. The song choice I really hated, and I just well, technically someone does own her, and his name is Mr. J, but okay, we're going to go with this one, and that's one thing, and there's more examples throughout this whole movie. Yeah,
all the song choices are so fucking on the nose. It is frustrating. Like,
they were cliche as fuck.
I love Sympathy for the Devil, and if I never hear that fucking song in a movie again, it'll be too soon. Cause
one of my favorite one of my favorite thrillers of all time is Fallen, and it opens with Time Is on Your Side, but it has a lot of Rolling Stones in it. But still, again, yes, if I never hear Sympathy for the Devil again,
just if you're
thinking, they tease that bridge for too long.
If you're thinking, hey, I want to put Sympathy for the Devil in this movie, and your name's not like Martin Scorsese, just don't do it. Figure out something else.
Well, besides, I think Marty leans a little bit more on Give Me Shelter than anything else.
Yes, he does, but he makes it work.
But he makes it.
But
all these. Okay, yeah. So we haven't even gotten to the rest of the Suicide Squad introductions, if you will.
Well, yeah, it's all shot in the worst way possible.
And it's almost as if it's a line of dialogue, and then that's enough character development.
Yeah.
That was very frustrating for me.
Well, we get little clips of almost everyone. It introduces almost everyone. El Diablo, in the beginning we get Harley and Deadshot a fucking lot. And then we get a little bit with Captain Boomerang, El Diablo, Killer Croc, and Enchantress. Who, 5-year-old spoiler, is actually the villain. But we'll definitely get into that when we talk about Amanda Waller. Because how they handle Amanda Waller in this one is fucking wrong.
It's bad.
Yeah. But we get introduced to them.
One quick point. One thing I did want to bring up about Diablo, that is definitely, I would say, the most roll of the dice character choice for a comic book film to date.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
I've never heard of him before this.
That statement does have an asterisk, but I'll get to that asterisk a little bit later.
Oh, yeah. We get lots of characters later when we get to other Suicide Squad movies.
I really just thought it was a rare chance, because, I mean, I'm fairly versed with Batman's Rogue Gallery, or his Rogues Gallery, but this one I really didn't know much about. I had to actually look it up a bit, and once I did some reading, like, holy crap, this is a cool character.
Yeah. Yeah,
no. Don't fuck it up.
El Diablo, I'll go ahead and say it right now. El Diablo, probably the best handled character in this entire movie. He actually gets a whole arc. I actually like him. Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, I'll go ahead and add an extra asterisk saying I like a lot of the way the characters are handled in this movie. El Diablo is the best example. Character out of nowhere, who I actually end up rooting for at the end. But but we have so many other characters. I
mean, I liked Croc, and I was kind of afraid that they would go way heavy with the CGI, which they did, and he kind of did end up looking a little like garbage in some shots. But I was convinced it was a Croc.
Yeah, Killer Croc.
That's
the makeup job looked pretty good. There wasn't much to his character, I would say, but yeah, he worked. He worked well enough.
He worked. He was one I actually, I loved him. But again, I'm a big Batman mark, so.
For me, like, Deadshot's obviously great in this movie. Will Smith kind of works. I was not particular. I like Will Smith, but I wasn't particularly thrilled when I heard he was cast. I was like, okay, let's see how this goes. And he does add a degree of credibility to this. Yeah,
my first reaction to him being cast as Deadshot was that he would take it as like kind of a Batman and Robin-y comic book movie.
No, he takes it.
Yeah, but he played it very sincerely. Like, I was kind of afraid that it would be like Agent J as a marksman.
Yeah, he plays it serious. He is, he plays it essentially as a caring father who also kills people for money. You can mix the two, and he actually does it fairly well. I like his character a great deal. But yeah, but anyways, we get introduced to them. We find out about Task Force X, and then Amanda Waller. And then we get all the group together, and during all this scene, for probably almost like the first 45 minutes, they're adding all these songs in. And it gets so obnoxious. Probably when I realized, the beginning bit was really bad. Like, Sympathy for the Devil was, like, really bad. But then when it cuts to Eminem's Without Me at the, like, midway through, I'm like, oh, God, I'm so done with this song shit. It does not work. Stop forcing it. Ugh.
Yeah, it's the money went to the soundtrack, not the writing.
And they didn't even bother
the editing.
Like, it's so clear this movie wants to be Guardians of the Galaxy DC version. But doing all this stuff without understanding why that worked. Guardians, like, there's an emotional anchor to the music, because that was Peter Quill's music that his mom gave him that he loved. And this is just random fucking songs thrown into the movie.
Yeah. Well, with Guardians, that was like a play. If I remember from the film correctly, it was a tape she gave him right before she died.
Yes.
And then he was abducted. So it's like the last token he has of her before her passing. So yes, that's sentimental value to all that music. And why it's so important to Quill.
Mm-hmm.
That's there, and that's why that soundtrack is fucking awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, when you watch that movie and the songs come up, you're kind of cool with it because it has a meaning. It's not just random. And lots of times that song, what's the word? It's in canon. I'm brain farting on the term. But yeah, it's lots of times when you hear the music in Guardian, it's in canon. That's the music that either Peter's currently listening to or he's playing on a speaker right now. That's what you're listening to. This is all just random shit they're putting in the background. Random.
Well, I mean, like a good example for like what you were saying, the in canon is I think it's their intro. I believe it's their introduction in Endgame, where they're listening to the Rubber Band Man.
Yes.
And you see them all just grooving, bopping, singing. Yeah, like, it has more meaning. Mm-hmm. It's not just, hey, here's the Rolling Stones with a helping of Eminem.
Yeah. But yeah, we get the group together, and then right at the end, we get like. You want to add something?
I want to say we forgot to introduce somebody.
Who do we forget?
Somebody else who's in the group. Rick Flag.
Oh yes, Rick Flag. Yes, he is the military man.
The Billy Badass of the group.
Mm-hmm.
And they did establish him as a Billy Badass in this one.
Yeah.
We didn't see much of his Billy Badassery, but it's established he's a Billy Badass.
That's true. I am jumping ahead because we're getting the group together, and we haven't established that Enchantress goes rogue, and they get the group together to stop her, and that her and Rick Flag are a couple. You're not really invested in that relationship, but it's a thing.
Yeah, no.
The characters are, so you roll
we shouldn't be either.
I mean, Rick Flag's invested in it, so that's our investment in it. I'm not a huge fan of Rick Flag here. We'll get to him later, though.
Yeah. That was literally all the notes I had on Rick for this movie.
Yeah, no. He's forgettable. Another character I would like to go ahead and talk about for a couple seconds. Captain Boomerang. I do not like Jai Courtney at all. And I really dug him in this movie.
I've always loved the character in the animated Justice League of Captain Boomerang. Yeah. I thought he was just like a dastardly bad guy, and I loved it.
Yeah.
I had never heard anything or heard of Jai Courtney when this came out. I was impressed.
Yeah, no, like, I swear, I don't know what it is, but, like, I keep on seeing him as, like, a leading man. What Terminator? Was it Genesis he was the lead in? Terminator Genesis? Yeah, he was so bland as Kyle Reese in that. And I swear, like, lose...
That's the one I haven't seen. I haven't seen that or Dark Fate yet.
You're not missing anything?
I already know the big spoiler of Dark Fate, and I have no desire to watch it.
Yeah, if you watch the trailers for those movies, you get the big spoilers for them.
I mean, I'm sorry. I like the universe for John. I like the universe where John Connor's still alive and not shot as a fucking child.
Well, I don't know which I hate more: him getting shot as a child, or him being the T1 trillion or whatever number they made him.
You know that those past two. But we're gonna get a little sidetracked with this, but. The only thing I can say about that is after those past two movies, the one let's see, Dark Fate and the one that came out before that, those two
it's Genesis.
That was Genesis. Okay, well, I take back every mean thing I ever said about Rise of the Machines.
Oh, yeah.
I take back every negative thing I ever said about Rise of the Machines.
Okay, since we're already on this tangent, I'll go ahead and throw in my hot take. I am totally cool with, like, just not watching any Terminators after Terminator 2. I personally think the best one after Terminator 2 is Salvation. Not because it's great, but because at least it's something different. Holy shit.
It is something different, and it's kind of a nice bookend to the Connor story.
Yeah. It's...
okay.
My personal guide would be, if you really want more Terminator 2, I guess go ahead and watch Sarah Connor Chronicles, which I haven't seen all of, but what I've seen of, it's fine.
Yeah.
But anyways, Jai Courtney. He is, I believe, an Australian by descent. And I swear, once you get him to stop doing an American accent and just do his natural Australian accent, I swear to God, he's a better actor. He's actually a good actor. Maybe his career won't took off as leading man if he was allowed to do it in his natural accent.
So he kind of has the opposite of the Tom Hardy effect.
Oh, was the Tom Hardy effect? What do you mean?
Oh, I think it's like when Tom Hardy is ever like forcing an American accent.
Yeah.
And I feel this with a lot of British actors. It just kind of sounds a little weird, to me at least.
Huh.
Which I imagine is how it would sound to people who live over in England and they hear an American actor fake a British accent.
Yeah.
Imagine it's something very similar to that. But I think that he's a better actor and he does a better performance when he's speaking with his natural accent.
I've not noticed that. I don't know. I think he usually does a good job, period.
Well, I mean, I am using one film as a comparison, and it's a movie he did with Guy Ritchie called The Rock and Rolla.
I have not seen that one.
Good one.
Guy Ritchie is an interesting filmmaker. I'll give him that. I don't like old stuff, but he has his own takes. Yeah.
I hated Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, he's got his own takes.
I fell asleep.
Which one?
Both of them.
Both of them. Okay, I kind of enjoyed the first one. I thought the second one just felt like more of the same, unfortunately.
Yeah, fell asleep.
But yeah, what else we talked about? Okay, so they get the group together, and after they get like the main group together, that's when we are introduced to a couple characters who I did not get images for. That would be Katana and Slipknot. Oh, I did get Slipknot because he's very important. Katana gets...
that was his name. That's right, Slipknot.
Yes. He's not the band. He is the separate character. Oh wait, I got right here. Ooh, he's actually under the poster. How weird. But anyways, yeah, Slipknot is the most important character here. He is vital. We need to know that he can climb anything.
Yes.
That is the beginning and end of his full character arc. He is such a deep and profound character in this movie.
So thought-provoking.
Oh my god. And then, like, this couple minutes after that, you get Katana, and she gets the most exposition-y line ever from Rick Flag, so much so that I wish I had cut it together so I could show it to you. It's like, this is Katana. Her sword tracks the tolls of its victim. I won't get on her bad side, because she'll cut... Is so exposition-y. Rick Flag gets really exposition-y in this movie, but that line is, my god, so cringe.
Actually, I have a good note for that too. And we are introduced to Katana. Now, Katana has Rick's 6.
Yes.
And you don't want to be killed by her blade.
Yes.
Yeah, that is literally almost verbatim the line. And again, another poor soundtrack choice right here too.
Oh, what? I don't remember what soundtrack choices they do at this moment. That's right. It was Spirit in the Sky, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I said,
flying in the helicopters.
My note was, it is so predictably whack that I'm honestly surprised that Salisbury Hill is not in this soundtrack.
Oh my god, yeah, it's.
And I fucking love Peter Gabriel.
Yeah, no, the only reason it's not in this soundtrack is because there's no scene where they're purposely going up a hill. I guarantee you, if they walk up a hill, they're playing that one.
Well, I mean, Harley had a hammer, and we didn't hear Sledgehammer.
And that's a missed opportunity on their part. They're going to be so on the nose, they need to go all in.
I mean, thank God, but... Because I also love that song.
Yeah, I love it too. Peter Gabriel is one of my favorites, but oh my god, I guess he dodged this soundtrack.
Good for him.
Yeah, I used to say there's a rule that either Peter Gabriel, Jimi Hendrix, or David Bowie have to be on every single soundtrack. Does Suicide Squad 2016 not get that?
No, I can't recall anything about the soundtrack offhand.
Yeah, I don't like all the random shit. I don't think they hit any of those 3, which is shocking. Those guys are like on every fucking soundtrack. Awesome.
And I remember there's parts of it that I was going like, oh yeah, this is a James Gunn movie.
Yeah. Anyways, we get the whole squad together, and immediately Slipknot is killed. I'm sorry. It's very sad. He is the heart of the movie, but he is instantly dead because we really felt something for him, and he got the thorough introduction he needed, and his arc was over.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I knew that he would want to go out that way like a firework. Yeah. So.
I am impressed they didn't blow him up and play Firework.
Seriously.
This soundtrack's so
I mean, if he had some snakes or some sparklers, that wouldn't be going on, but
Anyways, the movie just goes on. They fight random, like, putty men.
Humanoid blackberries is what I wrote.
Yes. Yeah, that's what they are. They are. Zombified blackberries. So evil. They do that for a while. Oh yeah, Joker attempts to get Harley. And this is one thing that drove me nuts. So Joker gets Harley, and I'm jumping ahead because this is after they've saved Waller. It's revealed their mission is to go in there and save Waller. Okay, whatever. And then Joker comes in to save Harley, and then Waller goes to Deadshot and says, hey, if you kill her, you can have full custody of your daughter. Keep in mind, they haven't really done any character development at this point. They've exchanged a couple lines, but nobody really knows each other. And that's when Deadshot, who could get his daughter, it has been established, has his driving force behind doing all of this stuff, decides he's not going to shoot Harley. And that kind of drives me nuts. Because that's not where the character's at that moment.
He would have shot her without hesitation.
Oh, yeah, to get his daughter in a heartbeat.
He would have no-sighted it and just been like...
Yeah. It's so frustrating. It's like they're at this point they're really trying to build that there's these character dynamics and that they care about each other, except we're not there. They're not there. They've exchanged a couple lines and killed some putties.
Putties. But no, and I don't know, just a lot of this and this whole part too. To me it really felt misguided and misdirected. Like we're like you had said that we're supposed to feel that they care about each other, but we haven't seen anything to establish that in our minds except for them ham-fisting us this.
Yes.
And so much of this movie is just ham-fisted, and it's really one thing that drove me so mad. Like with all the Joker flashbacks too, that I felt was just there for the sake of saying, "Hey, the Joker's here."
Yeah, is absolutely clear they wanted to just put Joker in this movie, and if they had put Joker in as the main villain, that would have actually made sense to me.
Yeah.
He would be a good villain for the Suicide Squad, or at least some sort of antagonist. But he is so unnecessary to this that if they completely cut him out, the movie would actually be better.
Yeah, and I agree.
I actually think there's a good movie where you set up Joker as the main villain if we ignore Leto's performance. There's a good movie to be had if we have Joker as the main villain, and there's a good movie to be had if we just well, actually, I don't even know.
That's a tall order to ignore.
Yeah, there's a lot to fix with this movie still, even if we cut him out.
I mean,
it's better.
First of all, we gotta get back to the drawing board. Now, if we remove all the tattoos and the trap rapper shit, I think that looks good. I just don't think the face tats work, or any of the tats work. Like, if we're going off of the traditional DC story of him being the failed comedian, and I'm talking like Killing Joke or like a failed broken man before all of that shit happened to him. He doesn't seem like the type of guy to be having a face tattoo on his hand.
Well, I don't...
Even after.
He
just seems to be more like maybe psychotic and just, at the whim ready to pull the gun and not think twice. Like shoot first, ask questions never.
Well, you look at these tats and it's like the music in this movie. Like, it doesn't necessarily make sense, but it's just gonna be so fucking on the nose. And that's so frustrating in this movie. Everything has to be so goddamn on the nose. They put damaged on top of his fucking forehead. Like, we couldn't figure that shit out.
And like the smile on the hand, and it's there on his forearm too. The ha 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 ha.
Yeah. Done in comic book style. In case you didn't get it, there's a skull with a jester's cap. Yeah, he's a Joker. Cool.
I understand he's into death.
Yeah. Yeah, I never will pick that up with the Joker. Oh my god.
I mean, I kind of thought it was better established in The Dark Knight where he does the first why so serious speech.
Mm-hmm.
And he's standing with the guy with the blade in his mouth, and he looks at the dude on the floor and he asks him the question. And you don't have to see what happens to know what's happening.
Yeah.
Yep. he is one not to be fucked with.
Yeah. Well, I love the origin they give him in The Dark Knight too, which is actually no origin. He just gives you a fuck ton of origins, and they're once he goes off on the second one, it's all fucking bullshit. And so,
Yeah, where he starts it the same, and then it goes a little different. You're like, wait a minute.
mm-hmm.
Oh, this is the most accurate depiction.
Yeah. Yeah,
cool.
you can do the failed comic thing, which is what the Joker movie was essentially. You can do the Agent of Chaos thing. You can do if you go to Batman '89, that's a good example of just kind of crazy fucking Joker. I don't think that's the best one, but it's something.
I would say to date, it is the best depicted on film of origin.
Oh, of Batman '89?
Yeah.
If we're going by Killing Joke, it's actually not too far off. So yeah, if we're going by origins.
Let's see, when did Killing Joke first get published?
It wasn't too far before that, but I think I know Tim Burton really liked it. I don't know if it was his inspiration for wanting to do Batman. It might have been.
Well, he did say like a lot of his inspiration came from the Detective Comics of them, as well as Frank Miller's Dark Knight. The Gothic aesthetic is what really inspired him heavily with the old detective style, but really just the overall color scheme and darkness of Frank Miller's is where he's like, yes, that is the Batman I want to make.
So wait, does Tim Burton like Gothic aesthetic? I don't know if I've noticed that in his filmmaking.
He likes Johnny Depp.
That's for sure. My friends and I used to have a joke about the reality is that Tim Burton, Danny Elfman, Johnny Depp, I'm trying to remember if there was somebody else, but they're all actually in a relationship together, and that's why they're all making stuff together, because that's just their group, man. They all love each other.
Well, it's kind of like the goth kids of the Apatow crew.
Yeah. Well, lots of filmmakers have their crew, so can't judge them. But yeah, it felt like for a little bit, if there's a Tim Burton movie, Danny Elfman's scoring it, Johnny Depp is starring in it.
Odds are, that is like the Three Amigos of the Burton verse, I guess.
But yes, Tim Burton, someone else who could have directed this movie better.
Yeah, and I'm kind of sad we never got to see what he would have done with Superman. And I would have loved to see Nicolas Cage as Superman.
Well, that's the thing. Like, have you seen, what is it called? The Death of Superman Lives, the documentary.
Yeah.
I've seen it. It's been years.
It has been a while.
One thing I really thought was interesting about watching that is how little, like, when they got to story discussion towards the end, I actually thought it was kind of interesting. But there's actually very little story discussion in that. There's lots of talk of the visuals, which I can almost tell you that's kind of what got derailed. It's like, okay, it looks cool. What are you doing with it?
Well, one thing that I think is fascinating when it comes to like that aspect of it, and this was after Burton was out, or I think he might have still been in, or maybe, but like when they brought Kevin Smith in to write the story.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you could find a clip of it on YouTube, or like you listening could find a clip of it, because this story is fucking outrageous and funny as hell. He talks about him meeting with the producer Joel Silver, and who owned the Superman rights, who bought them from the Immokalee brothers of Canon Films, who owned them, and they made Superman 4. So they were about to make the new one of like Superman Returns, or The Return of Superman, or I forget what the name. I think it was Superman Lives.
Yeah, Superman Lives, I think, was the actual title.
Was the working title.
Yeah.
But so I guess at some point, Joel Silver didn't want him in the cape.
Yeah.
He didn't want the blue, hated the color scheme, wanted it to be all black. And he wanted Superman to fight a giant spider at some point.
That seems familiar. It's been a year since I've seen that. I know, I think it was him who was intensely against the red underwear thing, which is why he goes without it for so long.
Yeah, he was against the red underwear and cape. He thought it looked too effeminate, I believe. And that's not the exact word that was used, but...
It's almost like comic book movies, or comic books in general, aren't realistic.
What?
I know. It's like, that's what you're making. Go with it.
You mean some failed army vet can't live in a steel mill and abandon make a full steel outfit for himself?
Also,
and be really good at basketball.
Anyways, we got we're still on Suicide Squad, right? We were on talk about Joker and the unnecessary Joker bits.
Yeah.
Anyways, what we get to oh, that's right, we get to the big twist reveal that the Enchantress stole the bomb from Rick Flag, and that's why she took the city hostage. Which is, by the way, the most expected reveal ever.
Yeah.
I was watching, I was like, wait, that's what I assumed happened. Why is that a twist?
Oh, wait, we forgot to mention Enchantress's brother. But again,
yeah, well, she has a brother.
She has a brother. He's there for a bit.
The character depth to him is that he is her brother.
Yeah. And they have a task they need to finish.
Yes, they need a sky beam with junk around it in the sky, because that wasn't cliche enough by then.
No, because of reasons.
It was kind of interesting between Avengers and somewhere between Avengers and this movie. Like, this movie was kind of like the end of the sky beam. Like, Avengers kind of launched it, and like everybody's doing sky beams after that. And then by the time this movie came out, it's like, we are so fucking done with this shit. What was it? I want to say Man of Steel definitely had a sky beam. I think that Ninja Turtles 2014 had a sky beam.
Yeah, Crane. Actually, both of them had one.
Did they both have one?
Yeah.
Oh God, I haven't seen I haven't seen either of them in a long time.
I think there was a rooftop fight in the first one. I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen it.
Yeah.
I remember I enjoyed both of them, but I just didn't care for how the turtles looked.
Yeah.
Well, and both were good turtle stories.
The gold standard for me is still the Turtles movie from 90 or 91.
Yeah. Yeah. That one where it's a little dark and gritty. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's still the pinnacle.
Anyway,
Secret of the Ooze was made to sell Vanilla Ice CDs.
Yes. Oh God. But
and pizza.
Yes. So Joker. Yes, we get to the big twist reveal, and then we get to what I would argue is by far the best scene in this movie. That's the bar scene. That's where we get El Diablo's huge backstory and his emotional trauma, and kind of why we really see in that scene why he is the best character in the movie. But we also get a bit of Deadshot, and even Captain Boomerang gets a little bit to shine in there. Harley gets to show off how crazy she is.
Croc gets to show off how beautiful he is.
Yes. Harley in this movie is a whole different tack.
Yeah, there's a lot with her. Like, again, one thing that bothered me about a choice that Margot made, and it's something that has been corrected since, but that accent was all over the place. Like, I didn't feel that she didn't hone it into one specific kind of like mid-Atlantic-y, which is kind of how I imagine people from Gotham could talk, because I've heard Gotham saying it's like an analogy for New York City and Chicago. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
I don't know. Like her accent.
I've also heard that New York is, or that Baltimore is supposed to be Gotham as well.
Yeah, Gotham's kind of an amalgamation of a whole bunch of urban style cities. Just kind of Metropolis too.
Yeah, it's kind of Metropolis, but I always think Metropolis is Los Angeles.
Yes. I always think of Gotham as more New York and Metropolis is more Los Angeles. That's always what I've thought.
City, that's St. Louis.
There's mixes.
Yeah.
But here's what always bugged me about Harley.
I don't know, just the accent really bothered me. Like, it just kind of seemed like it was existent at some points and then not. But this bar scene, I completely agree. It's the only time that we see them and how they feel towards one another. Like, they all realize, like, look, we're all bad and we're all in a shit situation.
In fact,
get together and get out of it.
If we had that scene where Waller tells Deadshot to shoot Harley after this bar scene, that would have actually made sense to me. Yeah. We don't, but oh my God, it's like it's out of order.
Yeah. So much of it seems like the squad is going to be all together fighting, and Harley's going to be doing her own thing. Not related to what they're doing, but her own thing. Like right before this bar scene, when they go to encounter and they're fighting their way up more of the Blueberry Men.
Yeah.
How she just goes up in the elevator by herself to only get encountered.
Yes.
Like that kind of that right there bothered me. But we did get a great payoff with Diablo.
Mm-hmm. Well,
we got that great payoff there.
Here's what bugs me with Harley, because she possibly more than, I don't know, maybe not anyone else, but more than a lot of the characters in here, she has a built-in arc, especially if we're going to involve Joker in here. Her arc is breaking away from Joker. And this movie is not interested in progressing that at all. And that is a serious downfall of this movie. It's like built in, and they're ignoring it.
Yeah. Like when we were talking earlier about this, I had mentioned that how I feel that if they took all of the Harley and Joker together stuff, like the ruining date night shit and all of the rest of it, and maybe lumped all that together and made it, tell a clear-cut story, but put it in the beginning of Birds of Prey, it would have improved on what was already a really good movie.
Yeah. I mean, Birds of Prey has its issues.
Yeah, and probably would have salvaged what was left of this movie.
Yeah. Well, Birds of Prey has its issues, but it's much better than Suicide Squad 2016, and it's not bad. It's one of those movies, the more I watch it, I'm kind of like, this ain't bad. This is fun.
And her accent's way better.
Oh, yeah. Well, we'll get to more of that later, but yeah, Harley Quinn, I want to see the Harley Quinn Poison Ivy movie now, very much so, but we'll get to more of that later.
Yeah.
But, so they get that great bar scene, and then we get to the big CGI fight.
You mean where Gozer fights the Suicide Squad?
Yeah, something like that.
I kept thinking, wow, are they fighting Gozer right now? Because Enchantress sounds like Gozer.
Yes, she does. Okay.
That's exactly what Gozer wanted to do.
Oh, man, this is... Enchantress is essentially just this villain who's a belly dancer with a sky beam, and they gotta fight her. Yeah, she's not even a fucking good belly dancer. She's this weird fucking belly dancer. Yeah, just dances before the sky beam, and it's like...
That bothered me so much. I don't know why. It just looks so unnatural, and... it's... Oh, God.
I don't know what they were thinking with this.
I don't know either.
We get the end of El Diablo, as he is, I believe, the only second. If we're not counting the random military guys and Scott Eastwood, El Diablo is only the second of the core team that dies in this movie, called Suicide Squad. Fun fact: if you watch the animated movies, there's 2 animated Suicide Squad movies, and they have a 50 to 70%, 75% death toll for the squad members. And we'll talk about death, obviously, when we get to 2021. But, oh my God. Kind of to sum up what, my final thoughts are on 2016 here. Obviously, they beat the bad guy. I do want to talk a little bit about Amanda Waller here at the end, because Amanda Waller is so set up to be the main villain of this story. She set Enchantress out. Enchantress does all this chaos, and it's obvious Amanda Waller wants to contain her for, to kind of cover up her shit, because it's all on her. And what they do is they just kind of, blow it over. It's like, Amanda Waller's free, okay, you guys get, 10 years off your sentence, whatever she says, and they get some random stuff they ask for, and that's it. And it's like, Amanda Waller is the fucking villain here, and we're ignoring that. Sure, whatever. But yes, do you have any final thoughts on this? I know.
Oh, God. Like I'd said earlier, I could tell that this was heavily meddled with by the studio. They wanted to tinker around and probably think that they knew better, and I don't think that we should hold we really shouldn't hold the director, cast, or writers that accountable, because I'm sure that what their original ideas and intent and vision was so far gone from what actually we got.
Well,
I'm trying to be as fair about it as possible.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the possible Ayer cut, which I don't think will happen at this point, but what are your thoughts?
I would like to see his.
I really would. It's like the Snyder Cut. I'm totally on board with watching it. Hell, if nothing else, it's content. But I don't see how you salvage this movie. Like, I could re-edit it a bit. I guess I also see what's on the cutting room floor. I'd love to have access to that. See what could be put together. Yeah. I don't know if this is really salvageable, though. I honestly don't know.
Oh, yeah, I don't know either.
Because I actually think if you do a Suicide Squad story, I'm about ready to say you can't overblow it. But they do kind of overblow it in the next one, but we'll get to that. But yeah, this one, Enchantress was a terrible villain.
Yeah.
If you didn't have Jared Leto as Joker, maybe you could have had Joker as the villain.
Yeah.
There's some classic Suicide Squad stuff you could go for that they don't.
If you can't have Jared Leto, and obviously, I mean, my first pick would be Heath Ledger, but we can't have Heath for that. No. So who would you cast for it? I would pick Cameron Monaghan, the kid from Shameless who played Jerome on Gotham.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. Okay. I haven't really seen that one. I'm trying to even think. I mean, there's lots of guys who could handle it. Yeah. You know, one guy who I always thought would be interested, who was actually, like, rumored that maybe they were thinking about in when they were casting The Dark Knight, was Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
That would have been interesting. Now they're doing other stuff with Michael Keaton now, but
yeah,
that would have been an interesting turn to have him play Batman and the Joker. I'm kind of really interested in that, because he could fucking do it.
I still want to see him as Old Man Bruce, which is what I believe they're out there going with it, which I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I would love to see a not Flashpoint. Yeah, they're doing Flashpoint. What was it? Batman Beyond with him.
Yeah,
oh my God.
There is also a part of me that really would like to see Kevin Conroy as Old Man Bruce.
Yeah, we got to see a little bit of that in Crisis.
Yeah.
Which I have not been keeping up with the CW stuff well at all, but I did see Crisis.
Yeah, I had read that he was appearing on the CW one, and I was like, oh, fucking finally!
Yeah, he doesn't have a big role. He's never in costume.
But still.
Yeah, it is kind of cool to have him as Bruce Wayne for live action. I mean, you can say he did it live action once.
Yeah, I read comics, and I read Batman stuff, and I'm reading Batman bubbles, and I'm hearing his voice.
Yeah, no, like, if we're talking voice, Jesus Christ, he nails it. It's perfect. Like, Christian Bale definitely didn't nail it. Other guys have done all right, but Kevin Conroy fucking nailed that voice.
Well, I mean, I kind of have a weird theory with the Schumacher Batman movies. Like, Clooney was a great Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Terrible Batman.
Yeah.
Kilmer, the exact opposite. Lousy Bruce Wayne. Great Batman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Keaton, great at both.
Yeah, Keaton kind of did both. Well, his Batman voice wasn't anything, like, fancy. He just did it a little bit deeper. So I guess if you were really paying attention, you won't really tell. You could probably tell it was Bruce, but, you know. Yeah. It worked.
But I think it's like if you were listening for Bruce's voice, you would recognize
You'd have to know Bruce's voice well to know that that's him.
Yeah.
I want to go ahead and add some audio credits at the end here. The theme music you're hearing at the beginning and end of this podcast was written and performed by George Johnson, a very good friend of mine. And my current Patreons are Fel Martins, David Lara, and Lindsay Pankhurst. If you'd like to become a patron, go ahead and follow the link down below. Anything you can provide would be incredibly helpful to this channel. We're barely limping by right now. I'd love to make this my full-time job. I'm miles away from that right now. So any help you could provide, just $1 a month would be amazing. You know you want to. All your friends are doing it.